Social services are weird, right? So when it was time for me to leave care, they wanted to put me, I think it was a hostel. It might have been a flat, but it was in West Croydon. And I was like, no, I'm not living in West Croydon. If you know, you know. I had my reasons. And they kept going, no, it will just be temporary, it will just be temporary. And I just knew social services. Like, if they say it's temporary, it's not. They would try and keep me there forever. And me being 17 with a baby, I was being picky about where I wanted to live. So I told them what area I wanted to live in because it was close to my family who I was trying to like rebuild a relationship with. And it just so happened I was very lucky that as they put the request in, like, this is where Slaney wants to live, a place became available. Incredibly lucky. I know how lucky I am. A lot of people who leave care, they end up in these dirty, unregulated hostels. Some end up in caravans. So I already knew how lucky I was that I'm actually getting a flat. They had offered me a mother and baby unit, which I had declined, because I just thought if I live in a mother and baby unit, social services, because they already wanted to be as involved as possible with me and my child, the fact I was in care. If you're in care and you have a baby, or if you've left care and you have a baby, social services are just on you. So I didn't want to do a mother and baby unit because I was like, I will never get rid of social services. They will try and be in my life forever. They will constantly try and assess me. I managed to get this flat. I really fought for it. Within 3 months of me living in this place, I was having 3 to 5 panic attacks a day. And these panic attacks were so severe that I lost so much weight. I was always being sick. I started developing agoraphobia where I couldn't leave the house, which of course meant my daughter wasn't really going out. She was still a baby, so she doesn't remember any of this, but it was really horrific. It got so bad I actually begged to go back into foster care. And I hated foster care, but that's how much I struggled living alone. It was the loneliness, it was the isolation. I didn't have a lot of friends, I didn't have a lot of family around me. I didn't have much of an excuse to go out. And I really struggled with these panic attacks, and it got too much that I asked to go back into foster care. I just turned 18 and they were like, no, you're too old. You're too old now. Get some antidepressants. And I swear to God, those were their words, get some antidepressants, which I did, which I kind of regret doing because then the doctors notify social services, oh, we've got a care leaver on antidepressants now. And then social services were like, oh, let's use that against you. Even though they told me to do it anyway. I then asked, can I go in a mother and baby unit then? Because I knew I was maybe too old for foster care. So I was like, what about a mother and baby unit? No, it's not available to you anymore. So long story short, I struggled with panic attacks for a long time. But anyway, when I finally made my complaint about social services years later, the investigators were shocked. They wrote to social services and they were like, why didn't you put her back in the mother and baby unit? Because they were like, it was an option before. They were really insisting at one point that I go in a mother and baby unit. So they were like, why, when she made it clear that she couldn't cope in a flat and couldn't cope living alone, why didn't you just give her the mother and baby unit then? Because I was at the age. And social services could never answer that question. But what's upsetting about it is my mental health really failed. And me living in a mother and baby unit could have freed up a property for people who so desperately need it. Because housing in England is a joke. Housing in this country is such a joke. Me going into a mother and baby unit meant that someone on the waiting list could have taken my house and they would have appreciated it way more than me, because this flat I lived in was beautiful. I was so, like, you don't understand how lucky I was. It was beautiful. It was 2 bedrooms, big living room, huge roof terrace that was all mine. And I always felt guilt because it's like, I should be appreciating this. Like, I've left foster care and actually got put into a beautiful property when a lot of care leavers don't have that. But I couldn't enjoy it, and I was willing to give it to someone else and they wouldn't let me, and it just baffles me to this day. And I don't live there anymore. I had to, in the end I moved because there were just too many bad memories of when I first lived there, like just the amount of panic attacks I had. It was almost like, you know, like right property, wrong time. It was gorgeous, and I hope whoever lives there now is loving life, because it was one of the best places I think anyone could live, especially when you've come from foster care and then move in. But to this day, I don't understand. I think a mother and baby unit, I hated living alone so much that I was willing for social services to be assessing me. Just about, I don't know how to end this video. It's just mad to me.